here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we advise both Indiana State University and Purdue University campuses. So we're traveling an hour or so in each direction, but we have a full team of support. So Kara Taylor is actually the main advisor that you may talk to on campus moving forward. Outside of Zeta, I also do other things in the community as creative director for Indie Black Millennials, which is a networking organization. And then professionally, I'm in technology sales. Zeta Phi Beta, was founded in January 16th, 1920 at Howard University. And what really was the goal of these 5 collegiate women, and I want to point out, the 5 collegiate women, because these were women just like at ISU, who were 19, 20, 21 years old, who had a vision for women and membership to do more for society. So of course our organizations were facing things like bigotry and racism, sexism, but Zeta really also set out to face other society ills that are within and without our community, such as colorism, classism that needed to be addressed. And so our 5 founders came together at Howard University with the assistance of our brother organization, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and set out, the history from there. So this year we're celebrating 100 years of scholarship service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. It is a very exciting time for us, but as it has been an exciting year, it's also been a tumultuous year. With from everything from COVID to shootings to various domestic violence incidents to just crime impacting our communities. What I will say is I love how Zeta has given all of our members platforms to speak and impact change. So when we talk about self-care and taking care of ourselves in community, that's always been a tenet of Zeta. So we have a multi-dimensional program called Zeta's Helping Other People Excel. And within this, we tackle different disparities that impact our community, but also others. So we handle men, women, youth, seniors, and even international women of color. But we tackle things like mental health awareness, especially now that people are it's becoming less stigmatized to go seek help. Not only, taking it on yourself, but we have a thing that say hashtag check on your strong soror, just like check on your strong friend. We also have programs that focus on health. So Zeta's Zeta's Have Heart is an initiative that not only takes care of the body, but also the mind, and making sure that we are staying healthy, engaged, partnerships that really encourage us to be better, because the health disparities in our community for Black women are drastic. So we want, we don't want to be number 1 in heart disease. We don't want to be number 1 in breast cancer. We don't want to keep being this number 1. So we really have a push. And if anybody follows Selena Johnson, the singer, she's a soror of ours, and she's a major push in our Zeta's Have Heart initiative. The last thing I'd like to add is, while we really go out in the community to try to create programming to handle these disparities amongst others, we try to do a lot also internally. And so it's important to us for that sisterhood piece to make sure that we're keeping each other grounded. And I have a soror who works for the University of Cincinnati who recently talked about squad care. So you got self-care, radical self-care, but then there's, what about radical squad care? And so we have something called Sisterhood Circles or Sister Circles, where you can get together with a group of people with similar ideas, similar family lives, similar professional lives, or just a random group of people that you can connect with. It can be here locally, it could be internationally. So you could be in the Sisterhood Circle with our sorors in Africa, our sorors in Australia and Germany, but really being able to check in on one another, build relationships, because I think when it comes to this self-care, and squad care, a lot of it really depends on relationships with others. And so we really pride ourselves in making sure we build that relationship with each other in our own organization, but also with community. And so, I could go on all day about the tons of programs that we have, but just if you want to learn more, you can visit Z5B, that's ZPHIB, 1920.org, and learn more about Z Hope, which is Zetas Helping Other People Excel. And that includes our mental health initiatives, our Zetas Have Heart, our triple negative breast cancer, our work that we do to help mothers and babies. So please check us out. And then the local chapter on campus, Iota Theta chapter is there. Really great group of women. If you have any further questions about the organization, they can also answer those for you.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine. Okay, so now I would like to introduce Sonia Gilbert. Sonia Gilbert is representing Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. She is a member of the Indianapolis Alumni Chapter and currently serves as the advisor to Beta Beta Chapter at Indiana State University. And with that, I'll give it over to Sonia.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm really excited to see where this conversation and this series takes us throughout the semester and next semester. I think it's something that'll be extremely valuable. So just briefly, as Dr. Irvin said, I am the advisor to Beta Beta Chapter, and that's the local chapter at Indiana State University. I'm a member of the Indianapolis Alumni Chapter. And just a little bit about the sorority. We were founded in 1922, November 12th at Butler University. So not too far from Terre Haute, about an hour 15 minutes away. And the climate back then, as Jasmine mentioned, was they were all young women, collegiate women at that. And in particular, for the women on Butler's campus, their campuses reflect what the culture of the campus is now on a predominantly white institution. So they were combating constantly racism, different socioeconomic statuses, caps on how many people could attend the university, really having to put their foot to the ground and advocating not just for themselves, but for their families. So with that, the mission of Sigma Gamma Rho is to enhance the quality of life for women and their families, right? Because you're only as good as your circle, right? So you've heard the circle before. You're only as good as your circle. So women and their families, U.S. and globally. We do this by, focusing on our community service initiatives, civil and social actions. We focus on health awareness and leadership development. So with that, to kind of tie that in, what Sigma Gamma Rho has been focusing on most recently, social action and civil initiatives, are voting rights. So we all know midterms just came. Now we're coming up on election, and really what our main focus right now is getting our community registered to vote. A lot of times we just, it's dismissed, or, we're not placing an educated vote. So how do we convey that importance to our communities? Sigma Gamma Rho does that by putting feet to the ground. We're going out to the grocery stores, getting, folks registered. We're setting up registration tables on local campuses and really communicating not only the importance, but how empowering it is for you to advocate for yourself. So knowing these platforms and making an informed vote. Along with that, we've also been focusing heavily and have a history of focusing on violence against women and girls. So that could be domestic violence, human trafficking. Again, going back to that, what we call the glass ceiling, and where they kind of place women professionally. Focusing on education, especially for continued education for women and our youth. A lot of times in the educational system, our kids are given a disservice, whether that be financially from the state or just your home status, and really giving yourselves the tools and our families the tools to have a quality education and access to education. We currently use the hashtag much more than a hashtag, because we all see these devastating mentally and emotionally hashtags that drain you. And what we want to fuel is progress beyond just that hashtag. So this happened. Now what do we do? As we're looking at what do we do, Sigma Rho has issued a golden alert. This program has been around maybe about 7 years or so. And what it does for our membership is kind of designs what we need to be focusing on legislatively, programming wise, and community wise. So we may focus on social media. We can do this through social media awareness campaigns, or kind of getting our swords out and bringing a call to action. So let's march for purpose. Let's advocate where we're needed. And so our golden alert kind of just guides us on how, as a group, we implement and impact our community. So we all know social injustice is happening everywhere, and it's draining. It's draining to open up Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or even the news and see, people that look like us, knowing that it could be us next. So when I think of radical self-care and what that looks like for Black women, it's something that's extremely powerful because it starts with you. What we have done for our membership is most recently setting up a 6-part series of workshops. So really being intentional and invested in how are you dealing with these feelings of fear, isolation? Are you seeking help when you need to? And are you relying on your sorority sisters and your loved ones in your circle to really help you through this and help to guide you? Your personal care, what does self-care look like for you? If you don't have it, let's get you some. Do you need to get a run? Do you need to see your therapist? Really bringing that awareness to how you are dealing with all of these things going on in your everyday life. One of the things that I love is our project Reassurance, where we focus on women and, again, just their families. That is really the heart right now of what we're focusing on. But your reproductive health, how are you taking action with your family, and can you see those signs of duress and distress in your children and in your spouse and in those around you? Because sometimes it takes just some person that cares about you to say, hey, you look a little off, sis. Let me help you through that. The Beta chapter has done several community outreach things to focus on these things as well, not just externally, but also internally, making sure that they're spending time with one another and checking in on one another. The students on campus right now are combating things that they haven't before, isolation, going through classes online that we've never, had to combat before. So just really being intentional of that self-care and those signs around you. If you guys have any extra questions, feel free to reach out to the Beta chapter on campus, or you can look up more information on sgro1922.org.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jasmine and Sonia. I appreciate you sharing. There's a lot. There are 2 more organizations that you all can look up, Alpha Kappa Alpha and Delta Sigma Theta, I'm pretty sure. I do believe Delta has a connection with Weight Watchers. They have a new program. So I was reading up that. So considering looking to how you partner and how you create these sister circles. So what I'm going to share in this part is the why. I've shared the why, so I'm going to share this. Okay, so I'm hoping, okay. So radical self-care is basically what we want to do. We want to break down the 3 parts of your whole being, which would be mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. And we want to focus on each component separately. Now, keep in mind that this is not just focus you as a Black woman. It could be focus you as a queer woman. It could be focus you as a woman that has a different religion or than others around you. So different identities will come up. But all of it actually works together, your mind, your body, and spirit. We're going to try to build up those components of you separately so that you can start figuring out how they work together, because you can't have one without the other. So this is what we were talking about when we said radical self-care. We want to look at a holistic look at ourselves. And I'm going to go through the same workshops as you're going through. I'm going to do the same journaling that you're going to do, because I think we all need a little bit of help right now, figuring out where are we, who are we, and where do we want to go. So that's what this series is about. And I hope some of the speakers that are on don't leave. So like I said, everything intersects, everything connects. So while we're focusing on one, your mind may go through something else. So you may be thinking of issues that you have as a soror, as a partner, as a mother, as a daughter, as an uncle, as an aunt. And I put uncle in there intentionally because it's the orientation and the identity. All of these things are parts of you. Some are cisgendered, some are not. So you have to understand where you are, what you need for that particular identity at that particular time. So that's what we're going to create, a toolkit that helps you work through all of these changes. The first thing you really, really do have to do, and I don't want to use that word frivolously, is breathe. But I want everyone to step back before we start the very first session, which will give us a more of a foundational look of where we've been with Dr. Stanley. So step back and just relax and actually engage in the conversation. Don't be hesitant. Don't think you can't ask questions, because you can. So these are the benefits. I definitely had to put this out there. So you will, of course, you'll get certificates and curricular record, all that good stuff, but you'll end up with a toolkit. So when you're having issues that deals with your mind, you'll have actual tools that you can tap into to work through issues that you have. And this is constantly, depending on how you react to what's going on in the news. Physically, it may bother you. Spiritually, it may hurt you, and mentally, it'll just have you confused. So, so 3 different things are happening at the same time because of one incident. So just keep that in mind. And like I said, you'll get a living journal. So by that, Chantrice, I hope you're still here. I'll ask her to explain what that's about in 1 minute. Growing number of resources, growing number of sister circles, and growing number of mentors. Right now, I have at least 10 or 12 faculty, staff, and community members that do not mind being a mentor. They do not mind lending a hand, lending an ear. And that's another purpose of me throwing this out to faculty and staff and just gathering those that can engage with you. Now, you have going to send out links to the upcoming sessions. You have to register and attend in order to get different prizes. And I'll show you a couple of prizes when I get to the end of this presentation. Okay, these are the objectives. I'll share. This is not a class, I promise. Here is the schedule. So the 14th is going to be the first one of the series. And as you know, we have 3. Initially, we started with 2 for each section, 2 mind, 2 body, 2 spirit, last this semester. And then those that were in the conversation with me planning this, they said, we don't think it's going to be enough. We think we need to stretch it out, and then we need to have something in place when students go home in the summer and when they come back. So this subcommittee has definitely charged me with doing a lot, but I have partners. So everyone on this call right now is a partner. We have a new AACC director, Dr. Reed, who is going, she'll step in and assist too. So your first one is Dr. Kimberly. This is a double PhD. So this is a brilliant mind, a brilliant spirit, and a brilliant conversationalist. So you will definitely, and she's a historian, you know, put that way. So she's going to show us, she's going to give us a more foundational view of what we are as women. I'll send a description out later. Then we have Valerie Craig is going to do In the Doors Of. If you did not participate in that series this summer, it was sponsored by Girls Trek, and they did a Daughters of programming. So they had different women, and one had Nika Giovanni and Angela Davis. That's where I got this idea from. But Valerie's going to give the premise. I'm not going to throw that out. They have bougie, wretched, and ghetto. So here are all of the workshops, and I will send out invitations for each every one. So I'm going to stop right there for 1 second and give you an opportunity. Does anyone have any questions? Does any of the facilitators, soon-to-be facilitators, have anything that you want to add? Please do so. No? Okay, well then I'll pass it. Hey, Miss Val, I'll pass it on to Shan Trees. She kills me for that. But it's a work in progress. She know I love her. I would never murder her name on purpose.
Hi everyone, I'm Chantrice Bradley. I serve as the Assistant Director of Campus. So as Dr. E said, we have our handbook or journal aspect to the series. So there are 2 volumes. So the first volume is more of that reflection piece as you go along with attending the series, working on yourself, mind, body, and spirit. So it has the resources available within those 3 categories to do some self-reflection. And then volume 2 will be distributed or available after all the series is complete. So that way you're able to even more deeper reflect and given all that you've learned through the excellent presentations by our amazing faculty, staff, and friends to see that full effect. So that way in the first volume, you kind of see where you started. And by the second volume, after learning, going through all these presentations, you see how far you come. So you can see that growth. And so I'm currently working on right now. If you don't mind, Dr. E, do you want me to give them a slight preview of?
You can share. Okay. You co-host.
Let me know what you all see.
We see
it. Okay. So again, it's still working on it. It will be available before the first session, so that way you can go ahead and get started. But so talk about, giving an acknowledgement to everybody that's going to be part of this process, defining what radical self-care is, and then we're actually going to dive into the 5 types of self-care. I completed physical self-care as far as, setting the goals, do some reflection there, as well as some worksheets that you can print out and help you achieve the goals, as well as the plan aspect or the food aspect, and then your daily habit tracker. So anything that aligns physical self-care that you want to make sure that you make a habit, you find it here. And so again, this is just a resource handbook for you all as you go through the different presentations and the mind, body, and spirit to keep you accountable within yourself. And then to have that reflection piece as well. And there'll be some reflective prompts also that'll be inserted after each section. So yeah, just something to look forward to.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, so with that, we want it to be digital so you can actually type in the journal and then just save it. And as we create new pages, you just add the new pages. So yeah, it came out good. So at the end, you have the option of having it bound. We will bind it for you so you can have a hard copy of it. Okay, so I'm going to do it. Yes, I am promising I will definitely do it too. So as I said, we're going to have incentives each each session. So for this first session for this opening and the first session, the students, faculty, or staff, everybody will be in the pool, and I'll pick randomly. I will not be in the pool, but for the first go round, it will be a choice of artwork by Claudia Tremblay. And I will provide the side. These are just a few. So I think I'm going to give this as a selection. She's not a Black artist, but she's ridiculously awesome. So I will send this to everyone who attended, and then we will randomly pick a name out of a bucket, and that's who will win one of these arts. And every session, there will be a different incentive. Some may be beer items, like we're trying to give away a drone. So it just depends on whatever I can put my hands on during that given month. But we want to incentivize it. We want to make sure the students get some immediate, say, hey, this is what I won. You should definitely come, because next time you can actually take part in that. But her artwork, and like I said, her name is, let me copy it. Okay. Okay, I'm going to give you, so in case someone wants to get their pick on early, that's the artist. Let's see. That is, in essence, I just wanted to make sure everyone understood what the structure was going to be. And unfortunately, we didn't have a huge amount of students, but that's okay, because I'm recording this, and students that are here, that means that they're ahead of the game. So they're in the pool twice when we do it every month. So we'll just pick winners every month. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat box, because we'd want, after each series that you attend, conversations, that you pose questions. Those may appear in the Living, journal. These are free and open to the public. The links will work, I promise. Our hope is we have to use webinar, which is a bigger platform, but right now we're doing Zoom meetings. But you will get the next one this week for the 14th. So do I have any questions from any of the students or visitors or presenters or facilitators or guests? Comments?
Yes. So sorry. Okay, I'm in the process. I'm at work. I took someone else's shift trying to do the story, so I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. I do have a question. So what, I know you guys have been talking about this. What made you guys really start this? Did you you know what, we really should have a program or start a series that really should bring everything in together to, for just the Black women, it's the Black community in general?
You know what, I'm Black. So I identify, that's one of my salient identities, a Black woman. I'm saying ooh, are you really? Yeah. And since March, I have been going through heck. And there have been so many workshops and so many Zooms and so many presentations that one that I spoke of, the Daughters of, with Nikki Giovanni and Angela Davis, started me to thinking, if I'm feeling this way, I'm pretty sure my sisters that are coming to I-State that are already here are feeling that way. So we need to start creating these sister circles, figuring out where we fit, who we fit with, and who we can feed from. Because you may not get it at home because you're the one that's feeding. So now we want to feed you instead. Does that answer that, Ante?
Yes, that answers it perfectly.
Okay.
I have one more question.
Okay.
It's kind of pretty out the way, but how do you feel the outcome of this will be? Do you feel like this will be something that's successful, something you want to do later on in the future, maybe something yearly?
You know what, the committee, no, I'm not gonna call them a committee. They'll probably just strangle me. My volunteer helpers. Initially, my goal was to do it this semester, two sessions this month for 3 months, and I would say okay, and they said no, that's not good. You need to expand it for a year. The whole year, and then have something in place when they come back in the fall. Because this conversation doesn't start because there are no more shootings or we're not paying attention to it. So, no, my goal is not to start, regardless of, who partners. I'm going to keep it alive because it's important. You have any more, Shantae? I think we lost. I hope we didn't lose her. Does anyone else have any questions, concerns? I can tell you they're all going to be at 5:30 on a Monday. So we try to get early enough that students aren't in class maybe, but early enough that staff say, well, it's not too early, I can hang with this. Go ahead, Val, go ahead.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? Because I'm on my phone. I apologize. All right, my question is real simple. Will we get access to this recording?
Every session, thank you, Val. Every session is recorded, and I will provide that recording. We will also, so it will, within 24 or 48 hours, the recording will be sent to these participants and then made public to the student body. So anyone can see them. They'll be on MSP's Radical Self-Care page. That's my hope. But they'll definitely be on our YouTube channel. And we're going to add closed captioning for those that need that.
I guess I'll just say this. For the students on here, if you all could really help as far as getting the word out and tell them this is that Zoom where they're not having to work. We're learning to really care for one another. That's what I get from this. That's why I'm doing it. But I realize Zoom fatigue is real, so we really going to need an extra push to get you guys out there. So if you all can help, that would be wonderful.
Yes. You can share it. You can share it externally. So Yolanda is not here with us. Sonia isn't. Jasmine, are you in Terre Haute?
No, I'm in Indianapolis.
Indy. So you all can share with your, whoever you think that benefit from it. This is not just iState. Whoever wants to join in. We have Joni's in Indy, and she's my community member. Joni, oh yeah, she's there. Does anyone else have a question or concern or suggestion? Go ahead, Jasmine. Oh, I thought you had your call. Okay. Well, I appreciate you joining, and I will send this recording. Will be available, and then the next meeting will be set. So you'll get that Zoom register. Okay. Thank you so much. You all have a great evening. Thank you. I have no clue why people are doing like this leaving. Okay. I'm still on camera. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.